Dr. Carlos Rojas. He is a urologist at the St. Martin Medical Center since November of 2018, and he originates from Caracas, Venezuela. He has over 20 years of experience in the field of urology, earning his medical degree from the Central University of Venezuela School of Medicine in urology and general surgery. His clinical interests include all aspects of adult urology, with a focus on urologic issues including bladder, prostate, kidney, testicular, erectile dysfunction, and urogynecology problems.
Our next panelist is Mr. Gordon Snow, managing editor of the Daily Herald newspaper, who was diagnosed with prostate cancer back in August 2021. He had learned that it was important to get a medical checkup regularly and not take your health for granted. Don't think that if you feel all right, that you feel healthy, that there's nothing wrong. He is here today because he wants to be as open as possible about his journey with prostate cancer. And with his knowledge now, he hopes to encourage other men to get checked. Mr. Raymond Benjamin, a prostate cancer survivor. Mr. Raymond Benjamin is born and raised right here in St. Martin. He has earned degrees as an electrician and mechanical engineer and is a civil technician for over 30 years with the government of St. Martin. Raymond has also been and continues to be very active in sports. His latest sports passion is cycling. His other passions include music, playing the piano, the sax, and the flute. In 2018, Raymond was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he decided that he was not going to keep quiet about this. Raymond decided he was going to be a prostate cancer awareness advocate and has shared his story at Christian Faith Ministries International Church in Dutch Quarter in September 2019 during a information session featuring Dr. Rojas and Dr. Ramos of St. Martin Medical Center. Mr. Van Grieken started his discussion with his doctor about challenges with frequent urination on June 1st, 2021. Mr. Van Grieken had a TURP surgery, transuteral resection of the prostate. Today, Mr. Van Grieken feels that it is important to share his prostate health journey with others. And the surgery is used to treat urinary problems that are caused by an enlarged prostate. Mr. Van Grieken, thank you for joining us. And last but not least, we have Mr. Michael Ferrier, who is a prostate cancer survivor. Mr. Mike Ferrier is a local businessman who was diagnosed with prostate cancer back in 2004. He received treatment back in 2005, and over the past 18 years has actively gotten involved in spreading the importance of men checking their health and their prostate gland. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand of applause for these wonderful, brave men that are here today that are going to share their story.
Today we're going to talk about sex first. I don't want to miss this moment to talk about important sexual problems that men can have. So when we see the classification of sexual dysfunction in men, we have three main problems. We have erectile dysfunction that we're going to talk later, but we have other two problems that includes low sex drive. Low sex drive is very common. With age, it's more frequent. Around 40% of people can have low sexual drive. And the main cause of this problem is more can be psychological. That includes depression, the stress, includes relationship problems, and also hormonal. So it's very important to those men with low sex drive, we have to see. The other problem that we can see in men that is more common that you can think is ejaculation problems. No? So you can see premature ejaculation, which is very common. Around 10% of men can have premature ejaculation. This means that men can ejaculate less than 1 minute after starting intercourse. So this is a problem because men get frustrated, and also women get frustrated because they don't feel that they're not completely satisfied. And this can be a very disturbing problem, and it's a common case of consultation in our office. And as we see premature, we can see delayed ejaculation, which is also can be a problem. It's more associated with drugs, with alcohol abuse, with drug abuse, and we can see retrograde ejaculation that is more associated with medication, like all prostate for medication for BPH, for benign prostate hyperplasia, can cause retrograde ejaculation. And all men that had surgery, like TURP surgery, can also have retrograde ejaculation. And finally, anorgasmia. Anorgasmia is patient cannot have climax. Huh? So that's more associated with psychological problems like traumatic, like child abuse, traumatic passage in sex. So that's more in the psychological field.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
During the hurricane season, a potential tropical cyclone can produce rainfall that can cause flash flooding and rockfalls. Stay away from flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall, such as Jump Up Casino on Emma Plain Road in Phillipsburg, ATLH Road Roundabout, L.B. Scott Road from Emilio Wilson Park until Cake House Supermarket, Zaker's Gut from Petro Plus gas station until the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Welchalaken Road K Hill from Welchalaken Road Roundabout until the One-Tete Loke Roundabout, Beacon Hill Road from Sunset Bar and Grill until the beginning of White Sands Road, and Rhine Road, also known as Mullet Bay Road, after Sonesto Maho Beach Hotel to the entrance of Cooper Coy from the intersection of the University Drive until the intersection of Rio Grande. For more information on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit stmartingolf.org/hurricane. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
Grisha Helga Martin, asked whether I am aware that a toxic environment can destroy one's morale, undermine productivity, and threaten the success of any organization. I do believe it was a rhetorical question, and so of course I can say resoundingly yes. As a matter of fact, within our own organization, when we have had complaints throughout government organization and have tackled that by doing employee satisfaction survey and are working on the recommendations to fix that. In other organizations, I would encourage that that be done, but you can also do an operational audit on several areas where the complaints are happening. And so that would be my recommendation in dealing with that. And I am also aware that the greatest asset of a company is its employees. The MP further asked what happened to the information regarding, I guess, complaints that are out there. Did we ever discuss the conclusions with the Supervisory Board of Directors? In our regular meetings with the Supervisory Board of Directors, we are updated on the financials, we're updated on the other aspects, developmental issues, challenges, critical issues, including issues that they are facing in their discussions with staff, with unions, etc. Can we hear about the strategy and the financial plan that the Prime Minister referred to? Telem is currently busy with updating the financial plan to create an updated picture of the finances of the organization. The financial situation of the organization is precarious and serious decisions have to be made to safeguard the continued existence of the company. The financial plan is the precursor of the 5-year strategic plan. The management team and supervisory board is currently engaging in strategic sessions for the creation of a new strategy for Telem moving forward. Regarding fiber to the home, the questions were how many districts, how much funding, and where to find the funding. The installation of fiber to the home consists of 2 sections, home-based and Homes Connect. Homes passed, let me correct myself, Homes passed and Homes Connect. The first stage is to pass by the home, and the second stage is to connect the home. Just over 70% of the islands have home passed. So 70% have then the possibility to be connected. Connections are being done on a daily basis. Telem has reserved budget to continue with the Homes Connect project. The budget for the homes passed is very limited, and the idea is that the Telem staff will continue to connect homes moving forward. I think I said this in the previous presentation as well. Telem management and the supervisory board has been in consultation with various entities to secure funding to make the network more resilient. Any support or suggestions that may come from Parliament in that regard would be appreciated to be passed on to the company. The other question related to the fiber. How many of the fiber customers are new customers? When we started, we had 7,300 internet customers on DSL. Now, Telem has almost 11,000 customers, of which 1,800 are still on DSL, which means that they have gained 3,700 new customers. Telem increased its customer base by 50% since the rollout of fiber to the home and is currently investigating several new technologies to bring high-speed internet to the rest of the island. The next question, Mr. Chairman, the MER company took Telem to court and won the case. Is Telem appealing the case, and what is the financial impact? From Telem's management, I was updated that Telem and MER decided to forego the court case and place the case before a mediator. MER had requested a payment of $18 million from Telem, and Telem requested a payment of $6 million, a counterclaim of $6 million from MER. The mediator ruled that Telem was to pay roughly $3.7 million, which is about $2 million more than Telem recognized. The extra $2 million has to still be invoiced, same as all previous invoices, which MER has failed to do. Telem has taken the case to the appeal court in the Netherlands to put aside the decision of the mediator. The result should be known before the end of the year. Telem has made previous provisions for the total payout on its budget as per the ruling, and therefore all financial projections moving forward include that amount. The KN Group, the MP asked Mr. Chairman how KN severed ties from Telem and whether they will also be bringing Telem to court, how the determination end. KN Surset finalized the contractual agreement with Telem. I didn't have any further responses to that, so my assumption would be that there is no court case. They finalized their contractual agreement that they had with Telem. The next question, what percentage did KN do and how much were they paid? How many districts did MER cover and how many did KN cover under the valued amount? MER covered Simpson Bay, Beacon Hill, as well as Sucker Garden, Point Blanche, and the Rice Hill area, and did a total of 4,251 homes passed. KN Surset did 15,832 homes passed and 5,845 homes connected. The amount paid is confidential, and Telem management would prefer, if that is required, that it be done in a closed door session.
What was so limited in IntegraTouch that this company needed to buy an entire CRM system? What were the limitations of IntegraTouch? Exactly. What's the difference between the new CRM system that they're buying and the IntegraTouch? What was the limitations there? Then, just for clarity, and I wanted to maybe, it's not a question, it's not a clarification, but a clarification on my end to clearly break down the line of questioning pertaining to why I asked during the time when I don't like to say names, but I'm going to have to say it, the now CEO of the airport and the now CEO of Telem, they were both vying for the same position, which was the CEO position of Telem. At that time, Mr. Chairman, they were both vying for the position, and they were the top two. But the person that was top for that position, that was based on credentials, the best for that position is the now CEO of the airport. And yes, at that time, I think National Alliance was in government, and I'm trying to mention to you that at that point, politics was played, and I think I asked something along the line of my reasoning then behind those questions were the reason that, look at where we are today. So two people in two different positions, you know, I'm sure Brian Mingo would have been fine at the airport, and I'm sure Kendall would have been fine, at Telem, and I'm sure Kendall would have been fine as IT at the airport, and we wouldn't have all this drama we have today. That's what I kind of like wanted to allude to. But anyway, that's when Brinches Politique plays a role. That's what I really meant with that question. Also, while I was in the position of the consultant I was the last 2-3 years, I remember being a consultant as a marketing and sales manager, and I was in the consultant field. My company was hired as a consultant in that position. I was evaluated as a manager. And my question is, I heard the Prime Minister say something along the lines of they are considering doing a new evaluation, but that evaluation was already ongoing. So what happened to that evaluation? Why they did not carry on the same evaluation? It's a brand new evaluation going on now. So at that point in time, if the Prime Minister is not clear, because I see she's frowning, I was evaluated by my peers. So all managers were evaluated. So that evaluation was already ongoing. I heard the Prime Minister said something along the lines of they're working on a new evaluation process so that the employees can evaluate the managers. It was already done in the past. So is it a brand new evaluation? That process didn't work in the past. What's the situation there?
Again, Minister Samuel is not here, and so I will pose this question to you. You are an educator. The date of the FB exams has been announced, and to the shock of educators, parents, and students, the exam is being held 6 weeks earlier than normal. That is quite a bit of time. Prime Minister, I know as an educator who was in the classroom that you are aware that it's already a challenge to finish the curriculum. Oh, sorry. To finish the curriculum within the 8 months that students already have, and to cut that by 6 weeks, teachers are seeing it as an impossible task. So I would like to ask, and if you don't know, I would appreciate if I can receive the answers. What are the reasons for this major change? Why are we taking away time from our children? And will government consider, as educators and school boards want, to move the dates back in the interest of the education of our children?
As it relates to the change in the FBE exam, I'm definitely not privy to the whys. It is not something that comes up in the Council of Ministers discussion. I know I experienced this same phenomenon in the past while I was actually dealing with this. There's always a challenge of where it falls as it regards to carnival and what can be done and what level of concentration the children have once carnival hits. So I don't know if that's playing a role, and when the carnival, those things usually fall within weeks of each other. But the FBE exam, let me just be clear as an educator, is not a exam of the past year of the child's life. It is a buildup of what has been learned over time, and specifically, especially in the last 2 years. So a lot of what is done in the 5th grade as well, so group 7 as well as 8 form part of and is part of the curriculum throughout. So it's a buildup of information. Unfortunately, we focus on the exam and lose track of actually ensuring that we go in depth in some of the content. I have experienced this because of the deadlines. And so yes, moving up the deadlines can put unnecessary and undue pressure on our students, on our teachers, and everyone concerned, parents as well. And so this question will be posed to the relevant departments that may have come up with these projections, which is the Exams Division, Inspectorate, and Department of Education would have contributed to this. And it's usually, and I say usually, in consultation with the relevant parties. So if that wasn't done, then that needs to, the minister will have to respond as to how he will be dealing with that, or how it will be dealt with moving forward. I know for a fact that in the time when I was at that helm, that the information would go out for the meetings to be held with school boards to have the discussions on scheduling, and the schedules are made for 2 to 3 years in advance. So again, according to me, that is still the process being used, and most recently, the union has mentioned that they would want to be involved in those sessions as well. So the minister did promise that that would take place, and I don't know if a meeting since that discussion with the unions has already happened to facilitate that all stakeholders are able to have their input in the scheduling of vacations and as well as important dates such as exams. Some may be out of our hands, but the foundation-based exit exam is something within the purview of the government of St. Martin. So I will leave the answering to the relevant minister and ministry. As it relates to the change in the FBE exam, I'm definitely not privy to the whys. It is not something that comes up in the Council of Ministers discussion. I know I experienced this same phenomenon in the past while I was actually dealing with this. There's always a challenge of where it falls as it regards to carnival and what can be done and what level of concentration the children have once carnival hits. So I don't know if that's playing a role, and when the carnival, those things usually fall within weeks of each other. But the FBE exam, let me just be clear as an educator, is not a exam of the past year of the child's life. It is a buildup of what has been learned over time, and specifically, especially in the last 2 years. So a lot of what is done in the 5th grade as well, so group 7 as well as 8 form part of and is part of the curriculum throughout. So it's a buildup of information. Unfortunately, we focus on the exam and lose track of actually ensuring that we go in depth in some of the content. I have experienced this because of the deadlines. And so yes, moving up the deadlines can put unnecessary and undue pressure on our students, on our teachers, and everyone concerned, parents as well. And so this question will be posed to the relevant departments that may have come up with these projections, which is the Exams Division, Inspectorate, and Department of Education would have contributed to this. And it's usually, and I say usually, in consultation with the relevant parties. So if that wasn't done, then that needs to, the minister will have to respond as to how he will be dealing with that or how it will be dealt with moving forward. I know for a fact that in the time when I was at that helm, that the information would go out for the meetings to be held with school boards to have the discussions on scheduling, and the schedules are made for 2 to 3 years in advance. So again, according to me, that is still the process being used, and most recently, the union has mentioned that they would want to be involved in those sessions as well. So the minister did promise that that would take place, and I don't know if a meeting since that discussion with the unions has already happened to facilitate that all stakeholders are able to have their input in the scheduling of vacations and as well as important dates such as exams. Some may be out of our hands, but the foundation-based exit exam is something within the purview of the government of St. Martin. So I will leave the answering to the relevant minister and ministry.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
With you, the new Kentaco. A combination that will surprise the most curious palates. Combining the deliciousness of KFC chicken and the practicality of a taco. With a doubly delicious ergonomic shape. Wow! Compatible with all types of bites. New Kentaco. Enjoy a double breaded chicken breast with our secret recipe. Cheese, lettuce, and tomato. New Kentaco, the innovation that's in everyone's mouth.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.